We are digital entertainment. And being digital entertainment is probably the place where you should be these days. And yes, of course, if I'm running a sports book, tough. There are no games played out there. There are few objects to bet on, etc., etc. But if you look at this from the casino side and the casino perspective, we are actually doing extremely well. So I would say that as an industry, we're coming out pretty well from this one. But, and this is very, very important to remember, this also comes with a responsibility. We see, or we know, we are scrutinized, so we know that there's always people looking at this industry. And I would say that today is probably the most important time to put responsible gaming on top of the agenda.
It's not that innovation is frozen, but obviously what we're trying to do in a time creation, first of all, is try to learn or to all work remotely together. I mean, we used to work remotely, but not all at the same time. And I believe that innovation, I mean, you know, it works. It's brainstorming. It's meeting where you spend long hours with a very small amount of people, and you need the physical presence. I don't say that if this would go on for 6 months, we will completely stop innovation. But to be honest, yes, for the moment, it's completely on the side.
People tend to use more the responsible gaming tools, which is really interesting. It shows some kind of a maturity level in the industry itself. You know, it's been operating under regulated market for some time now. And when things happen, when things hit, right, you think that it's going to lose control. People might go and play in a way that it's less responsible and so on. So the first thing that we did as a company, we sent across to our database questionnaires where we actually enhance our thresholds of responsible gaming, trying to be more alert to that, mainly because of we do believe in longevity of the business. We don't prefer to have players that will lose their money and end up with a sad story. We prefer that the player will have safe environment when he can play for a longer time and really enjoy the experience in our casino.
With this pandemic and live poker completely shut down and sports betting completely shut down, poker is thriving.
Poker is acting as a lifesaver for sports betting operators right now, along with the casino content and virtual sports. What we are seeing now, interestingly, that we are observing high demand from players to sports betting operators for online poker specifically. How we see it, so even the operators which weren't very keen of adding poker vertical into their portfolio are all now contacting us to add poker.
The customer behavior has definitely changed and evolved. There are more punters that have ventured into the world of online casino games and slots, but following the latest GC data, that does not mean that there would have been a massive spike in that activity.
As an operator, that there is an elevated risk that does not equate to elevated levels of gambling-related harm. But if you accept that the risk is increased by virtue of these extraordinary circumstances in which we're in, I think you can frame a lot of operator behaviour around that. We are well regulated, we are responsible. Yes, of course there are examples, particularly in the black market, but also within regulators of mistakes happening and bad practice. But if we kind of just sort of lean on an open door, whereby everything that we do is in some way needing to be stopped or outlawed, we get into a very, very strange place with regards to the debate.
And we lost roughly 45% of our blackjack tables. For anyone that doesn't know, in a studio, blackjack is the one where you have the most tables because they're limited to 7 seats for, your standard blackjack game if you want to replicate what the land-based is. So that was hit And obviously there was a concern that, potentially all tables would go. So we worked very closely with Evolution and Playtech, and they worked very closely with the governments, and we abided by all the social distancing. So we were very lucky to not lose our roulettes or any more tables. So yeah, it was quite an impact.
That our turnover has approximately halved on that business, but on a positive side, obviously the majority of the live casino products and actually the more profitable products for us are very scalable, and just making simple changes to the lobbies and the CRM and the targeting and marketing that we're doing to focus players towards those scalable products, we've been able to more than cover the deficit we experienced on those standard blackjack tables.
Imagine sitting on your sofa and playing at a table in one of the amazing Vegas casinos. Add in the other features that have been talked about on this call with the noise of chips and maybe some social elements as well. It could be incredibly powerful. And that goes the same for obviously all territories, but the US especially, whether that's New York, Vegas. There's some iconic destinations over there.
Watching a 90-minute football match and enjoying their bet for a longer period of time, that sort of emotional engagement, we've seen a trend more towards sort of live casino than slots, because they tend to get a lot more sort of, playability for their money during that period. So, there is sort of an easier natural cross-sell into live casino than slots that we see.
We are seeing lately a big request for customization of games. This was something that was in iGaming basically a decade ago, that the brand was tied with the content, and now I see there is a demand from operators that they are either requesting a reskin or exclusive games.
People play jackpots, they know it's like playing the lottery. My mum plays the lottery, doesn't think she's going to win every week, she hopes she's going to win. Jackpots are about the same, they should be seen as fun and they should be made fun. It's a small, it's a chance to win a huge sum of money, not very likely. It's pretty tough. I play jackpots when they get high enough, so and I know the business reasonably well. So, it's still that bit of fun for me every now and again, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think what's coming out of some of this current situation is that there's absolutely no harm in putting some RG messaging with your send-outs for jackpots to make sure people are aware that that your chances of winning are slim, but it's players are not stupid as well. Like, we're not trying to mug people off here. There's a big prize, yes, but most people who played jackpots before, they didn't win them.
As humans need to develop antibodies against this virus, I believe companies need to do the same. So we need to focus on finding ways to become virus resistant as companies, so that we can, prepare for what might become a seasonal thing, or hopefully not, something that happens more often, right? So in that, we have to be responsible. A lot of people depend on us, I'm talking about staff, I'm talking about suppliers, I'm talking about even governments, regulators. They depend on this industry. So we have to be responsible and prepare for this type of scenarios, not to act recklessly and find ourselves in a position where we have to lay people off.
The example of Colombia, it's a very good example, and I've been there with some operator from the beginning, so I saw the market changing from a non-regulated to a regulated, and we can see when a country regulates the product, the industry, the quality of the service delivered by the operators change and improve significantly.
Right now, we look like a big piece of meat, where they need tax money right now, and they're going to be looking at gaming to provide that. And we were already facing a few challenges when it came to banking, payments, and even taxes, in some of these jurisdictions. So we need to really unite as an industry and basically to act together to make sure that these governments don't turn into actually something that becomes a problem.